Okay. Looks like everything's good. Let me share this out to Twitter.
One thing that's interesting to me about the 2K23 experience is when I play a game in my division,
Okay.
it's extremely tough. Like, extremely fucking tough. Even against the crappiest teams. The worst team in the league right now by record is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're 2-9. And this is a Timberwolves team that has, let's see here, Trey Tatum, Mark Jackson, not that Mark Jackson, Charles Smith, Jelani McCoy, Linwood James, Jarmario Davidson. Like I've named a bunch of people you probably never heard of.
Yeah, are you sure those aren't like generated names? Like
I wouldn't be surprised, but more than likely they're just like really crappy journeymen from way back in the day. But anyway, so now we get to the players who are much better, who there's a chance that you might know who the fuck they are. Uh, Jay Williams, who was taken second overall in the 2002 draft. He was definitely a real player.
yeah, Yao Ming draft.
Right. Um, Bobby Simmons, Wally Serbiak, Kevin Garnett, Kurt Thomas, Aaron Bosch, Roy Cummings, and that's it. That rounds out the team. So, uh, again, they're the worst team in the league by record. But in the game we played against them, the first quarter, we scored 16 points. They scored 27, and they had that lead for the rest of the game. We outscored them throughout every single other quarter. We ended up winning by 1 point. It was just behind how fucked up that first quarter was, but that first quarter was such a disaster for this team. It was unbelievable. I mean, they my team couldn't hit a fucking single shot. David West finished 1 for 11. He was 0 for 7 in the first quarter. And he was missing wide open, uncontested layups. So I tried to get him going in the second quarter. It still wasn't working, so I just benched him for the rest of the game. And that was pretty much as soon as we started having a huge comeback. Deron Williams finished 7 for 12, but he started in the first quarter. He was like 0 for 5, I think. And then he didn't miss a shot for the rest of the game after that. But he's averaging 14 assists a game. He had 5 assists this game with 5 turnovers. They were just constantly stealing every single fucking pass I threw. Kevin Durant finished 4 for 17. Now, I think the game was just like, okay, it's time for your bench, or it's time for your starters to really struggle, or some shit. I don't know. But I benched all my starters, and then for the third quarter, where we really turned the game around, because we outscored them 26-15 that quarter, was just my bench the whole fucking time. Leandro Barbosa was humongously clutch. Jameer Nelson was amazing. Charlie Villanueva and Trevor Ariza. And I actually ended up playing a small ball lineup. I went for Kirk Henrik, Leandro Barbosa, Kyle Korver, Trevor Ariza, and Charlie Villanueva. That lineup popped the fuck off, man. Holy shit, it was amazing.
I remember Charlie V. He had a fun few minutes in the league.
And that's the crazy thing is like that's the worst team in the league by record. Us winning that game, we go up to 11-0 because we've had an extremely easy schedule up to this point. But we're at home. We're playing in Seattle. Minnesota's on the road. This is their second night of a back-to-back. And they very nearly won. They kicked the crap out of us all night. Fucking Wally Serbiak hit 5 threes, most of them in my face. And their starting point guard was a guy named Jay Williams. He went 1 for 15 that game. The only shot he hit was a go-ahead 3 with 55 seconds remaining. And that was actually the last basket they ended up scoring.
He made the one that counted, I guess.
1 for 15, but the one he hits is like damn near lost the game for us. Like, holy shit. KG almost had a quadruple double, 21 points, 24 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 blocks, including 9 offensive rebounds. Like, holy shit. It was tough, man. It was fucking tough. So that's the
Remember,
point. When you play divisional games, it's the toughest games for you on the season. Like, they feel like playoff games every fucking time you go, because that's we're playing against the worst team in the league, but they're in our division, so they're coming at us like that. Then the Utah Jazz have won 2 of the last 3 championships, and they're a fucking amazing team. And they play us. Holy shit, man! We almost lost both of those games. Somehow we won. Then the Denver Nuggets, an amazing team, and Melo's leading in the MVP voting right now. Like, he's having an outstanding season. Who's the last team in our division? We haven't even played a game against them yet, the Trailblazers, and I'm kind of terrified of how that one's going to end up going. Because they got Vince Carter on that team, Tyson Chandler, Marcus Camby, Derek Fisher, Gerald Green, Glenn Big Baby Davis.
the only teammate that Kobe trusted.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember a long time ago, I played, I think it was NBA Live '07 on the PC a good amount. And the AI was programmed in a really dumb way where there were certain players, like the elite players, who, if they got the ball, they would always shoot it. And if they shot it, it went in basically 90% of the time. It didn't matter what you did, they would just make everything. Players like Dirk Nowitzki, Darren Williams, guys who were at that point in time considered to be the most elite players, if they got the ball, they were just going to score. And the only strategy that you could do is just hard double team that player off the ball every time to make sure they never get the ball. Like, that was how they calculated hyper elite players at that point in NBA Live.
I basically soft doubled Kevin Garnett almost every possession because I was just using my center and off ball. Thankfully, no one's playing a small ball lineup. No one's playing a lineup where centers have jump shots. So I could just cheat off their center all day, and
Yeah, the only stretch big back then was like Mehmet Okur, right?
right. So, well, there were other stretch bigs, but the only one that played center. Because usually center was just like you never had him straying away from the basket. Well, that's because offensive rebounds were also considered really important for an offensive scheme back then. But yeah, like I was basically just soft doubling KG every time, and it really ended up working for us because KG finished the game. He shot 10 for 29. And if it wasn't for KG chucking up so many bricks in the second half, we never would have had a chance to win. But I'm sitting there like, this is the worst team in the league. They shouldn't be fighting us this hard. Something tells me if they weren't in my division, we'd have just ran right over them. I don't know what it is, but it seems like a divisional game. They just like step up tremendously. And then also your guys, their capabilities come way down too. Like, my starters, freshly rested, they come in, first 7 minutes of the game, we scored, I think, 2 points.
Maybe the game is trying to capture the experience of your entire starting lineup, like getting drunk the night before the game and staying out all night, like some Allen Iverson type stuff. Yeah. Are you
James
sure
Harden
your team doesn't
type
have
stuff.
James Harden?
Pretty much. Ugh. I'm so fucking spiritually tired. I am so depressed over how bad the economy is, man. Like, I just don't have any hope that things are gonna get better.
Probably the right mentality to have.
Why would you? Oh my god. First possession of the game, I'm already quitting out because of the stupidest reach I've ever seen. Perfectly played defensive position, then. Ugh.
Better when it happens on the first possession so you can do an easy restart instead of happening midway through the third quarter. There.
What?
No, nothing. Something in the game. Yeah. What do you think Boston fans felt today watching Caleb Martin completely unable to make a shot? 1 for 7.
Well, Boston fans are busy in the realms of the constant gigacope, so they're probably sitting there thinking, we'd have won this fucking game and all other kind of shit. But, the Celtics suck. They're not coached well. And in fact, I was watching this fucking thing. And I was talking about the whole Heat Celtics series. Aside from just how busted the Heat offense was in Game 6, and Jimmy losing his legs basically for the entire second half of the series, Boston just had no answer for the Heat's zone defense, and it's funny because the only game where Spo played a zone that the Celtics won was Game 5. But that was largely because Miami's offense was just completely broken. Not because the zone wasn't working, because they still made a lot of the same stupid mistakes and all this kind of shit. But nobody's touching Denver's offense, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It is refreshing to see someone like Jokic because I really do genuinely get the sense he only cares about winning. Like, he doesn't... I mean, he gets all these triple doubles, but I don't think it's that big of a deal to him. I don't get that sense, you know? Kind of like how Jason Kidd made all those triple doubles back then, but you never really felt like it meant that much to him.
Right. I mean, if all these guys are going to be focusing on stat padding, they should try to stat pad a quad double. The first one since fucking David Robinson way back in the day and all that kind of shit, you know?
Honestly, Jokic probably has the best chance of anybody because he gets these triple doubles and he's a center, so he could block 10 shots in a game conceivably. It'd be hard, but it's not ridiculous. Apparently, Wilt Chamberlain has at least one unofficial quintuple double. Because there were games back then when he got 10 blocks like it was nothing. So, really, all he would have to do is have a game where he randomly had a bunch of steals, and it was actually very doable. But we'll never know.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, Wilt was supremely talented, and I would never want to take away from his accomplishments. Because even though you can say all you want about, well, back in the day, people sucked and there wasn't all this talent and blah, 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 there were other guys who were talented in that league, too. And, you know, somebody like Bill Russell didn't put up the same numbers that Wilt Chamberlain did. And it's not like he was just stat padding on a bad team, because Wilt did win championships. So,
He missed the
uh,
playoffs once in his career.
right. So I don't want to take away from anything that Wilt did. However, I will say this: if you put Wilt into the more modern NBA, and when I say that, I just mean since the addition of the three-point line. So, you know, late 70s, or actually a better one since the merger. If you stuff him into the league since the merger, it's crazy of numbers. He'd still be an amazing player. He'd still be dominant. He'd still be successful, and he'd still win a lot. But he wouldn't have those crazy of numbers.
Yeah,
So
it would be
saying things like,
impossible.
you know, Wilt with the quintuple double, it's like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, in order for that to happen, he would have had to have been on like a really bad team that would just tell Wilt, like, hey, go get your numbers, man. Nobody else on this team is worth a crap. Like what happened with Kobe in his prime for those like 3 years, basically. The thing was, if you watch Wilt Chamberlain highlights, like I was watching a highlight package of him on YouTube earlier, he took a lot of jumpers. He loved his fadeaways. Like, it wasn't just like, I'm going to stand next to the basket and dunk it. No, it was just like, I'm going to
yes,
actually shoot it.
Wilt had a lot of finesse in game. Wilt was highly competitive. The thing is he had things he liked to do. And if what he liked to do wasn't working, he would do what he knew would work so that he could win. It's like him with free throws. People remember him as being a famously bad free throw shooter. It's just because he thought they kind of ruined the game. They slowed the pace down. They were boring. No one liked them. So he just wanted to hurry up and get it over with. But in championship games, when a ring was on the line, he shot like Rick Barry. You know, he used the underhanded style form specifically so that he could nail the shot and fucking score the points because every point mattered at that moment, and he wanted to fucking win. People forget all about that. But
Also, I had
man,
forgotten how much Wilt and Kareem hated each other. Like, I didn't know it was that bad. I was reading about it today. Shit was bad.
why did they hate each other? The only thing I could think of would be the conversion to Islam.
Well, basically, well, for one, Wilt was a Republican. He was good friends with like Richard Nixon and stuff, and Kareem didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Wilt dated a lot of white women, and Kareem
Mm-hmm.
thought he was a race traitor.
Yeah, this is why I brought up the conversion to Islam thing. Is it's important to remember in the political sense, and this is not for you, Joker. It's for people listening, even though it's probably not that much because of the time. But the time period you're talking about the early '70s when Kareem converted to Islam. This is back during the days of, Malcolm X had passed away. However, people were still very much, aware of him and what he'd gone through. The whole civil rights movement was less than a decade in the past. The Nation of Islam was very, very strong, very relevant politically. You had Cassius Clay converting to Islam, changing his name to Muhammad Ali, using his religious belief and talking about the way that America treated black Americans as an excuse for draft dodging, not going when his number got called. Kareem jumped on that wagon. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he was a fake Muslim. I'm sure that he was, whether it's just for celebrity or just in general kind of thing, I'm sure he took his religion seriously. But Kareem was always a very political person. And, with what you're saying about Wilt, that definitely makes sense that they'd butt heads. But that kind of fucking thing, man, like, there were. Things were very different back then. Because if you were a black man and you were converting to Islam back then during those days, you were kind of outing yourself as like a black nationalist, part of the Black Power movement, somebody who would want to go out and be a part of potentially riots and expressing your support for Malcolm X in any means necessary kind of thought process. That could spook a lot of people pretty easily.
When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar published his autobiography in 1990, he wrote a paper titled To Wilt Chamberlain, in which he stated, "Now that I am done playing, history will remember me as someone who helped teammates to win, while you will be remembered as a crybaby, a loser, and a quitter."
Oh, I forgot to say this is one of my favorite moments. I wanted to send you a video of this because it was hilarious when it happened, but it was at like 2 a.m., so I'm pretty sure you were asleep at the time. But when I was playing that Wolves game, I take the lead with 33 seconds left, and the way I did it is that the Wolves missed a shot, and Duran takes off, catches the outlet pass. He's running full court. KG was the only man ahead of him. KG went to take a charge. I Euro stepped around him. So like I put in the button press to do Euro step, which is one of my favorite fucking things, by the way, that you can manually control as you do a Euro step. And when I took the first step away from KG's body, KG flopped. AI KG actually tried to flop taking the charge. But because I jumped like a couple feet to his right, it just was obvious it was a flop. So because of that, it was a completely uncontested layup. There was no defense on it at all. So he just easily makes it. And I was like, holy shit. That is so going to end up fucking being what they talk about all week long on SportsCenter. I just imagine Keith Olbermann in his fucking 90s outfit or some shit. Well, it was late 2000s this taking place. They've been doing it for long enough. You might have Steven and Skip on fucking First Take. How have they been doing it? Let me check.
I'm pretty sure Skip and Steven were going at it on First Take in the mid-2000s. Hey, COD, it's Snacks.
Yes, okay. Stephen A. Smith started on First Take in 2012. Skip Bayless was on the show in 2007. He'd have been there.
Wait a minute. What about Cold Pizza? That was the show before. That was the show he had on ESPN at first.
I remember Cold Pizza.
Yeah, I think they just changed the name of Cold Pizza to First Take?
2003 to 2007. The original co-hosts were Jay Crawford and Kit Hoover. Let's see here. Shapiro. Yeah, they brought in Skip Bayless. The show was replaced by a very similar program, First Take, which initially maintained many features of Cold Pizza, but instead produced in high definition at ESPN's headquarters. Pizza, that's a fucking... Yeah, and they used to have Stephen A. Smith would come in as a guest personality. He was by no means a host, but every now and then he'd show up. So Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith on Cold Pizza definitely could have gotten into some shit. And I think that's where they brought him back in to do First Take together, is because they would have dipping ratings as the economy was getting worse. So they were like, we need to do something to fix this, and then they bring him in for First Take. So yeah, I could totally imagine a Cold Pizza segment with KG fucking flopping. A flop to lose the game.
Yeah. You know, I found that pretty much... It seems like pretty much any basketball player, even the ones that are very adamantly anti-flopping, will flop if they feel like the game is on the line, you know, like in a situation where like I really need to get this call.
Exactly, because it's part of the game, and it's exactly like I was saying with Wilt. Wilt in the regular season in the first round of the playoffs didn't give a fuck about free throws because he knew he was going to win. When the game's on the line and it's deep in the playoffs where he can win a championship, he's going on a real run here, that's all of a sudden everything changed. He actually tried. You know, people who may hate flopping, they know that it works. Even Shaq flopped.
Yeah, that was one I was going to use.
And fucking Charles Barkley hates floppers and he roasts people for flopping all the time. But he actually admits to it. He's one of the first ones to talk about this. In the 90s, I think by this time he was on the Rockets. It was during like the Jazz's championship runs. He was trying real hard to win a ring. They had a playoff game against each other, and he actually flopped on Carl to get Carl in a foul trouble with the game on the line. Because he was intentionally goading Carl the whole way down the court and was pushing up on him. So he was waiting because he knew. He was like, the moment Carl swings back at me to try to get me off of him, I'm going to act like he elbowed me in the face, and I'm going to flop. And that's exactly what happened. They were already in over the limit. So Barkley gets some free throws, and now Karl Malone, there's like 6 minutes left in the game. He's got 5 fouls. It's like, and that was in the fucking 90s. Like, that was before, you know, that was before Vlade and Manu really, really made flopping so prevalent. You know? Crazy shit, man.
Man.
Wow. Bosch is crazy. This is something I like. Bosch, if he's not on a team where number 4 is taken or retired, number 4 is like his default. Which is true. That's the way it's supposed to be. He wore 4 in college. He wore 4 when he was on the Raptors. Now, I can't remember. I think 4 was in use when he came to Miami. Because Miami famously, by that point in time, they only had 2 retired numbers. One was Jordan's.
Dan Marino, right?
Well, they retired Jordan's number 23, and they had 10 retired for Tim Hardaway.
Really? I thought they retired Dan Marino's number 2.
Tim Hardaway Sr. They may have retired Dan Marino's number in the year since, because there's a number of retired jerseys now. Miami Heat retired numbers. The Heat have 6 retired numbers. 3 for Wade, 33 for Alonzo, 10 for Tim Hardaway, 1 for Bosch, 23 for Jordan. And 32 for Shaq. They have not retired Dan Marino's number for
I thought they had.
just
I wonder
showing
if
him
maybe the.
respect.
Interesting. I remember reading that once and thinking that's kind of
It
weird.
it may it may be a soft retirement in the sense that if someone requested to wear his number, he'd be told pick another number. But it's not actually retired.
All right, let's see here.
Um okay, now I feel like a retard for not realizing this. Uh Bam wears 13. So
Oh, okay.
13 probably will get retired,
Okay.
but without a bio on the back.
Okay.
Um
I don't know where I heard the Dan Marino thing then. I remember hearing that a while ago. Yeah, well. But anyway, Bam, speaking of Bam, he actually played his best game in a long time tonight. He played great.
yes. I believe cuz like see, people say that the Nuggets are bad defensively. They're not. They're literally league average. They were 15th in the league in defensive rating this season. And Jokic is an above average defender, but he's so godly offensively, he looks bad on defense in comparison. And that's the whole team. They look bad on defense in comparison, but they're not bad defenders. However, this is easily the worst. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's the least good front court defense that Bam has had to play against this postseason. So he's fucking really getting the chance to feast right now. However, if you think that that means that he'll be absolutely smashing the Nuggets the whole series, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, probably
However,
not.
it's worth pointing out the only playoff series this year where Anthony Davis looked like he was worth half a damn was against the Nuggets.
Hmm.
So who knows? However, I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility to say at this point in time that Bam's better than Anthony Davis.
Well, the problem with Anthony Davis is he never plays two good games in a row. Like, you get one game and then he takes the next game off.
Basically. But I think that that's right now a hard to swallow pill that people don't want to accept, but maybe a couple more seasons from now, people sitting there saying, so did anyone else realize that Bam Adebayo has actually been better than Anthony Davis for a long time? Oh man. I'm still so pissed that they actually won in 2020 because as time's gone on, that ring has seemed more and more suspect in terms of like how the fuck did they actually do that? That team was awful. Like, and they've just been getting worse. Jesus, dude.
Still waiting for LeBron to find a way to force himself out of LA.
Well, we already know how he's going to do that. He's going to retire, take a season off, and then sign with whoever drafts Bronny. That's how he's going to fraudulently get his kid picked better than he would have otherwise by sitting there and basically saying, I'm going to sign with whoever drafts my kid.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if, like, you could do that, and then you could play things behind the scenes so, like, the Warriors take him. So you can farm one last ring with a team like that.
It's going to be too obvious if that kind of thing happens because then you run into the problem of tampering. And if you think that you can be immune to tampering because you're a favorite of the league, remember that the Los Angeles Lakers and Magic Johnson were heavily fined for trying to tamper to get Paul George. It was basically an open secret to the point where he went out and he said it on national television. He fucking talked about it on a late night talk show. I forget which one. But Magic Johnson actually went out there and revealed the Lakers' plans that they were talking to Paul George to try to get him to sign with LA. And that's when Indiana famously traded him to Oklahoma because they said, oh, well, if you're just going to leave in free agency and you've already made up your mind, we're going to get whatever we can for you.
And we're going to send you to Oklahoma.
That too, they did that as punishment because there were other offers on the table, but that was basically the worst place that he could have gone. It was the team where he wouldn't have been able to compete by going there, and of course, he'd have to live in Oklahoma. I mean, it's not for everybody, that kind of down home, you know, Americana style life. But the Midwest, especially suburbs and rural areas, that's like real. It's like the exact opposite of all this eat the bugs, pod people life, and I just wish I could have
Yeah.
that so
I'm not
badly.
knocking it. I just know that somebody like a Paul George is not gonna want that. Obviously.
Well, yeah, definitely. But I'm sitting here thinking, man, I'd much rather live in Indiana than California. As I mean, matter of fact, fucking I saw a posting. Like, I wish I could do this. Financially, I can't. But I saw a job posting for an entry-level help desk job that I would qualify for in Dayton, Ohio, paying $26 an hour. $26 an hour means a lot more in Ohio than it does here in California. And I was sitting there like, I could live out of my car for a while and just save money, and then get myself a fairly nice place out in Ohio, and like my quality of life would pretty much skyrocket.
But you
I'd
can't
be
do it.
way happier. Well, I can't. I just can't. Especially because I moved out of my parents' house once before. Things went really bad really quick, and I'm really gun shy about leaving before I have like a nest egg. Like I do not want to leave with nothing but the clothes on my back. You know, I don't want to be in that kind of position. But it's so fucking hard to actually save anything now. Which is heartbreaking, because back in 2020 I was about ready to buy a fucking car, and all that just...
Hey, Beastie. Welcome to the stream.
so sad.
Yeah, I've got too much stuff going on in this state right now to actually, like, move to another state, but I've thought about it many times. Thought about, you know, the positives and the negatives of living somewhere like
Yeah.
Wyoming.
Right. And I have too, like, especially, you know, it's funny you mention Wyoming. I would love to live there too. Basically, anywhere that's just, like, not the coast. You know? Of course, you know, David West, I mean, it's not even that he was being defended by KG. He's just actually just laid a fucking egg last game. But now this game he's fucking popping off. He hasn't missed yet. He's 6 for 6 with 16 points. That's a lot of sixes.
I was talking with a Moogle about this earlier. Do you think Curry's a top 10 all time or not yet?
I don't want to say so, but I feel like I have to. I really need to sit down and reevaluate my top 10 all time, because it has changed a lot in the last 10 years since the last time I would have looked at it. But just looking really quick, okay, because Steph, aside from like not looking at his stats and his awards and everything, Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. It's not even close. So he's already in the talks just from that. Everything else, four-time NBA champion. Now, he may not have the finals MVPs every time. However, we all know that it was total bullshit him not getting those finals MVPs.
Right.
They gave it to Iggy the first time, and that was just a disgrace. It was Curry's team. They gave it to Durant the next two times. That was also a disgrace. It was Curry's team. No, he wins fucking MVP those years, but he doesn't get finals MVP? That's stupid.
I actually
Just
kind of
fucking...
agree because there was a lot of stuff said about how, like, when Curry sits, the Warriors' offense completely fell off a cliff, like when KD was out there by himself. And then when
Exactly.
KD sat, the offense did not suffer at all. It was actually amazing.
Right. Exactly. So you got that going on. He's a 9-time All-Star. The only season he's missed since he really started coming into his own is 2020, because he missed the whole season.
And they were tanking, so that was planned.
And that too. 2-time MVP. He easily could have won it more. Because, I mean, when he wasn't winning MVP, it's because other people were... Narratives. Narratives and bullshit. But two-time MVP, okay, fine, fair enough. Eight All NBA's, sorry, nine All NBA selections, two-time scoring champion. Um,
Like, Moogle
and
sent me
then
this list of
hold on, let
guys.
let,
Okay,
let me
good.
now look at his numbers here. Got 21,000 points. Kind of surprised his assist numbers aren't higher. I'm not gonna hold that against him. Um, Amazing score. Amazing fucking score. Um, I think you got to say, without a doubt, yes. There's no earthly question at all. It's guaranteed. First ballot Hall of Fame, not even a question. Um, Four championships where, regardless of what people want to say, he was the best player on that team each time. He was the MVP of that team each time. Um, Two-time MVP. Guys like Tim Duncan only had two MVPs. Kobe is in the top 10 all time, and he only had one. Shaq only had one. He's in the top 10. Curry absolutely is in the top 10. Now, I'd have to reevaluate the whole thing, but like a lot of older players are getting knocked out because there's just a lot of new guys who are really fucking putting up such amazing careers. You can't argue with it anymore.
Like, Moogle sent me this list. You've got Jordan, Bill Russell, Kareem, LeBron, Magic, Wilt, Bird, Kobe, Duncan, and Shaq. And he says there's no way Curry's better than any of those 10 guys. And I don't know, I'm looking at it like Bird only really played 11 seasons.
Oh, well, I was just about to say Curry's better than a lot of those guys. I want to look at that list. Could you copy paste it in the DM real quick?
Yeah, sure. Oh, hey, JS, welcome to the stream.
Moogle has this is in order, right?
Not sure if it is or not. He just sent me a list of 10 guys that he felt were definitely better than Curry historically.
Okay. Again, it comes down to everyone has a different top 10 list because they have to value what they think is most important differently. Like I have Duncan as the GOAT because I consider longevity and consistency to be extremely important. Because of what you were saying there, Magic and Bird, to me, if you're going to put them in the top 10, they're like 9 and 10. They're way down there. Curry's got to be in that list. He's better than Magic and Bird.
I think he might be better than Kobe. I'm not sure. But, like, Kobe has the one MVP. He has 2 titles where he was the best guy on the team. And he was pretty much useless at the end of his career, if we're being honest. Like, I think
And
Curry's going to be super valuable.
and that's what you need to talk about is it's what you value. If what you value is impact, then you're right. Curry would be higher than Kobe all time because Curry has made a bigger impact for his team and in the league than Kobe during that time frame. However, to Kobe's credit, if you're the kind of person who values this kind of thing differently, to Kobe's credit, he um, had way less to work with than Curry did, and was out there doing a lot by himself for a very long period of time. Because you're right, Curry as an individual would be more valuable to a bad team than Kobe would be. However, I don't see Curry being on any of the bad teams that Kobe had to be, not just near the end of his career, but also in the years between Shaq and the second run.
Yeah. Yeah, like, if you put Curry on that team, I think he averages, like, 35 a game pretty easily.
Yeah, but would Curry have had the amazing historic moments that Kobe did? Um, would he have dropped 81? That's the thing is Curry probably could if he cared about that kind of thing. Kobe was in different circumstances. It's all about how you value things. As I'm looking at this list right now, I'm thinking Bill Russell doesn't belong in the top 2. Bill Russell doesn't belong in the top 5.
Well, Russell's always going to be a really tough one because of the
Right.
era.
Russell and Wilt are always going to be, listed in people's top 10s because they feel they got to put them in there. But I'm all like, it's fucking hard to argue that, because now you are sitting there like, well, they had the ability to dominate in a league that was mostly populated by stiffs. Russell winning 11 championships, where most of them came during a time when the league had 8 teams. Wilt being able to score 100 points against a bunch of guys that he was at least a foot taller than. Playing during an era where the oldest player to ever play was a coach who put himself in as a laugh. Like, there's a lot of crazy shit going on here. I don't think LeBron's in the top 5, because fuck him. But,
Believe me, Moogle hates LeBron more than anybody. He's just kind of had to acknowledge the greatness at a certain point, and I get it.
As I'm trying to think about my own list right here. Yeah, I'd put Curry in there, is the easy answer to the question, but now I'm trying to think about my own top 10.
Like, there are a couple guys he didn't list that you could argue, like Hakeem could be up there. Moses Malone could be up there. KD could be up there. My thing is, and this is subjective, it just feels different when a player plays their whole career for one team versus, like, KD, who changes team every 2 years.
I completely agree with you. And some people think that that says a lot for LeBron because he managed to win MVPs with different teams and he managed to win championships with different teams. But I sit there and say, no, fuck him. Because him winning championships with other teams is him leaving to go set up a super team somewhere else. It's a question of, if you took that same guy and you put him in different positions where other people succeeded, would he still succeed, or would they not succeed? Take Tim Duncan, replace LeBron with his championship teams, put Tim Duncan in there instead. How do you think he'd have done? Versus take LeBron and put him on Tim Duncan's teams. How do you think he would have done? It's a completely different question, those kind of situations, because it's like a lot of different guys who are in this top 10 would have easily won on LeBron's teams, probably won more. Especially depending on which guy it is that you're talking about, because of what LeBron brings to the table and his own weaknesses as a player can be compensated for by other guys. If you took Prime Bird and put him in on LeBron's teams, they still win. And they probably win more than what LeBron actually ended up winning. But if you put LeBron on Bird's teams, they'll still win the same fucking games.
Yeah, the issue with that is Bird only played like 11 seasons, whereas LeBron has now played like 20. So
right,
that's where the longevity comes in.
Exactly. That's another thing to consider, is that LeBron, with the longevity and the consistency. I'm just memeing earlier, but I would have to put LeBron in my top 5, obviously. I'd say my top 5, based off of the things that I value: consistency, dominance, and impact. I'd say Duncan, Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe.
Kareem won Finals MVP 14 years apart. That's pretty fucking phenomenal.
Right. And Kareem was an amazing defender, and was for a very long period of time. His only weaknesses, people said that he only would try on defense in very important games. But Duncan never gave up, Duncan never stopped trying, and Duncan never stopped being elite.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But I think it's hard to put currently active players in like the top 10 all time. It just doesn't feel right, but then you step back and look at it and you're like, wait a minute, I think it is right.
Right. It feels weird and it seems wrong, but exactly like you said, you got to just acknowledge it because of the way that things have gone. Like, what I consider important is, like I said, completeness of game, consistency, longevity, and especially if you stay with the same team to show that it's not some kind of fluke, that you stuck it out and you had that impact over a long time. You didn't just quit and fucking run off once it got tough. If Giannis stays in Milwaukee for his whole career, and he plays at the level he's been playing at for his whole career, and let's say he finishes with at least 15 seasons or more, I think I'd have to put him in the top 10.
Yeah, that's
Because
got to
this
be
is
one of the
now,
big ones.
right, this is the point now where you're looking at, completeness of game, consistency, longevity, where under those circumstances, it's like, I can't justify having someone like Larry Bird in over Giannis.
Yeah, at a certain point, the longevity matters. Like, I'm not saying that Dirk is better than Bird, but at a certain point, you're like, Dirk played for like 19 seasons, Bird played for 11. At a certain point, that starts to actually.
Right. And Dirk, put him in on those Celtics teams, would they have still won? Almost certainly yes. Take Bird, put him in the 2011 Mavs team, do they win? Fucking hard to say.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about that. I mean.
Right. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's like, Bird was a great player. There's starting to be a lot more great players coming around the bend. And it's tough. It is tough.
Actually, JS, I feel like we're on a path now where Jokic will probably end up in the top 10 because he's going to win MVP next year to make up for not winning it this year, like LeBron won 2 after they gave 1 to Rose.
Right. I'm big on the Jokic team, the Jokic hype train. My platform is that Jokic will continue to achieve and be excellent for so long that by the time it's all said and done, he'll be the new GOAT. Because completeness of game is there, longevity is there, consistency is there. If he keeps playing at this level for the long enough period of time, and say, like I said earlier, 15 seasons or so, he's going to have absolutely bonkers numbers. Plus, I think he'll be the first person since LeBron to win 4 MVP in 5 seasons, and I think that this is just going to be the first of many Finals MVPs for him that he'll win here. He'll come away, it's like, he was playing in a stacked fucking league against a hell of a lot of talent, and for him to just dominate like this. Well, I mean, of course, a lot of this hasn't actually happened yet, but this is what I'm saying, is I'm big on that Jokic hype train. I think if he can play at this level for another 10 seasons, that it's a wrap.
Like, think about what his stats are going to be when he retires at this rate, because he's such a stat machine that we've never seen before.
Right. One thing that's crazy is, as I'm looking at it right here, I'm like, why didn't Kareem ever win a Defensive Player of the Year award? Because he had fucking 11 all-defensive selections. Was the NBA's block leader 4 times. He's third all-time in blocks and could be first if they actually counted blocks for the first 4 seasons he played, which they didn't. But when you look in the 80s and the early 90s for who would win Defensive Player of the Year, the only person who won who wasn't a wing until David Robinson in 1992 was Mark Eaton twice. Everyone else was either a shooting guard or a small forward. Because Dennis Rodman, when he won it twice in 90 and 91, was listed as a small forward on the Pistons. Then you had Jordan won one in 1988, Michael Cooper 1987, Alvin Roberts in 1986, Sidney Moncrief twice in the first 2 seasons that Defensive Player of the Year was an award. And Mark Eaton took it twice. And then as soon as David Robinson comes along, wins it in 92, suddenly only centers are winning it with the exception of Gary Payton for like the next 10 years. You got David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon twice, Dikembe Mutombo, Gary Payton, Mutombo 2 years in a row, Alonzo Mourning 2 years in a row, Mutombo again, Ben Wallace twice, Ron Artest once, then Ben Wallace twice again, Wallace winning 4 and 5 and should have 5-peated, because Artest played great defense in 2004, but so did Ben Wallace, and he also got a ring out of it. They were just giving it to Artest because that Pistons team was stacked defensively, and they were like, all this other shit. So then Ben Wallace twice again. Then Marcus Camby. Kevin Garnett was a power forward, but was 7-1, so I mean, come on. Then Dwight 3-peats. Tyson Chandler, Marc Gasol, Joakim Noah, Kawhi Leonard. So for the first 10 years of the Defensive Player of the Year Award's existence, Mark Eaton was the only big man that ever won it. Everyone else was practically a guard. And then ever since, almost everyone who ever won it was a big man, and it's extremely rare that someone who's not wins it. I still can't believe they gave it to fucking Marcus Smart last year. That was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, God. I'd have to look at the numbers. There must have not been like a dominant defensive big man, and they were just like, fuck it.
Well, there were. There was. But in order to give it to one of them instead of Marcus Smart, you'd have to give it to somebody who'd already won it multiple times, and they didn't want to have to do that. You'd either have to give Rudy Gobert his 4th, you'd have to give Draymond Green his 2nd. Who else was in the voting for that year? Let me see. 2022 and you had I'm gonna assume that's pronounced Michael Bridges on the Suns.
I think that's
was in
Mikhail
2nd
Bridges.
place. I don't know. Right behind him, Rudy Gobert in 3rd. Bam Adebayo. Wow, voting was actually really close. Bam Adebayo in 4th place. And Giannis was up there. Unbelievable. I think Marcus Smart had 37 first selections. Jesus Christ. That is just insane. Bam Adebayo actually had more first selections than Rudy Gobert for the voting. That's pretty crazy.
It was not one of Rudy's best years defensively, I think.
All right. Boston was, by points, they were the best defense last season. And they did make the finals, but that's not all Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is extremely overrated on defense. And it is insulting that he got the award. Because one of the worst things that he does is he pretends to quarterback the defense so that people think that he's the leader of the defense and that he is smart and that he's calling shit out and everything. But most of the time that the Celtics get burned on defense, Marcus Smart is actively barking at one of his teammates. And it's his man that he fucking gave up the play on. Saying that he does this shit. So that's just nothing but fucking cope from sports media. Just feeding people horse shit as usual. As is tradition. So thank God the Celtics lost this season, and especially to Miami. Especially in the manner that they lost.
You know that line that Bane says about hope in The Dark Knight Rises?
There can be no true despair without hope.
That's what I thought of. The Heat getting to Game 7 and then blowing them out of the building instead of just ending it in 4 like they almost did. And then, having that miracle Derek White game.
Well, that's why I'm surprised that we lost Game 1 here. Because I thought, like, the whole time it was a meme to try to 2001 Lakers the fucking guys.
Oh, yeah, JS, believe me. I'm definitely... I mean... he gets away with it, quote-unquote, for reasons that... We all know why Kendrick Perkins gets away with that shit. Cough. But... I mean, to the people who pay attention, they're definitely aware of what happened there. And how these are not serious people.
Are you referring to the thing we're not allowed to talk about?
I mean, we've talked about it on stream before. It's the thing where he said that people only think Jokic is good because he's white.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins is a dumbass, and everyone is aware of that because of what he said. However, a lot of the people who agree with him and also who did awards voting and stuff like that are morons like Mark Jackson, who mostly they're just race hustlers, and it is what it is. But this season is showing that they're retarded, and Jokic is getting a makeup MVP next season no matter what happens. And the only thing he needs to do is have a decent season after that, and everyone's going to be like, you know what? We didn't give Jokic his due before, and we gave it to the wrong guy. Let's not let that happen again. And then they'll give him another one. They're 4-5, easy peasy.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if this Nugget...
But I mean, unless he gets hurt badly and like misses the next season, it's already a done deal that he's going to get a makeup MVP next year. So he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer just on the 3 MVPs.
Right.
Which is kind of nuts. But anyway, what you were going to say?
Yeah, and again, like, the thing is, it's not like this Nuggets team is super stacked. They have Jokic, they have Jamal Murray, who's locked up long term, and then they have a bunch of role players that fit in that are pretty easily replaced if they need to. Like, there's no reason why they can't rule the West for a little while here. Especially because Memphis looks like they're going to implode. Adam Silver's already kind of implied that Ja Morant's going to be suspended for a very, very long time. But he basically said today, yeah, there's been some stuff that's come out, but I don't want to say anything yet until the finals are over because I don't want to overshadow the finals with what I'm going to say next. So it's bad.
Yeah. Imagine being a Grizzlies fan, dude.
I mean, they've been much better than the average small market team over the last 15 years, but can't break through. Man, if they had made the finals against the Heat one of those years, that would have been fascinating because it would have been like the one team in the league that still plays 2 7-footers against Miami's small ball. That would have been so weird. That would have been fun to watch. It's too bad we never got it.
Yeah, that one year that they made the Western Conference Finals somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they get swept by the Spurs?
Yes, they did.
And that was actually 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It would have gotten annihilated by Miami. That would have been hilarious. Oh, that's an easy steal. That's hilarious. Holy shit. The AI tried to hand a pass off to itself. Guy just like bounced it off his own wrist, so then he dove out of bounds to try to save the ball for some inexplicable reason. And he just threw it into Deron Williams' outstretched hand, who caught it and then throws a lob to Iggy. Oh man. That is beautiful. Wow.
Well, I mean, JS, the thing is, the Nuggets probably would have done this 2 years ago, but Murray got hurt, and then last year Murray was still hurt.
Yeah, this is the first season that Murray's healthy, and you can't discount how important Murray is to the success of that team. Because one man being able to just out-talent everybody hasn't been a thing since like the mid 2000s. We're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of when you were able to just play hero ball and win titles that way.
Yeah. No, JS, that was the year. No, wait a minute. Which one was it? Yeah. God, I'm getting the timeline mixed up in my head. I know there was one year where they blew a playoff series against the Blazers. Like they had the Blazers beat and then just blew like a 17-point fourth quarter lead. But that may have been a while back. But yeah, they lost in the Western Conference Finals to the Lakers in the bubble, I think it was. And then Jamal Murray got hurt. I wonder how the scouts can whiff that badly on somebody like Jokic. How can you not get it? Like, we've
Well,
never seen it happen like that before.
yeah, considering who they actually end up fucking taking instead, it's insane. I really think it actually is because Jokic is chubby, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't have that Corey Maggette physique, so people, you know, you gotta have those big buttocks to create space. A triangle. Everybody knows it. He was wide open in the corner. Look at that. Hell yeah.
So the Celtics announced today that they're going to keep Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, thank God. I'm so glad that Bud is not going to be coaching the Celtics next season. Budenholzer is without a doubt the best available coaching free agent. Like, I don't know why people who need a coach are not looking at him. Like, I was saying it in the fucking chat the other day. In just a few years of Joe Budenholzer having control of that franchise, Giannis turned into a two-time MVP, NBA champion, Defensive Player of the Year. If you're a young team that's wanting to rebuild and head in a good direction, you want to take fucking Budenholzer, man. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he pretty much ran that Bucks team completely himself anyway. That's why I was saying that I don't think he'd be a good fit on the Celtics, so I understand this, is because Brad Stevens wouldn't really want him to do his own thing.
Oh, yeah, one other player that is considered one of the best of all time that we didn't mention earlier was Oscar. I feel like Curry's clearly past Oscar Robertson at this point.
Oh, Oscar Robinson is not even close to the top 10 of all time anymore. Those days are over.
And then you have guys like Jerry West. I don't see that one either.
Yeah, Jerry West, again, great player. I think I remember Kenny Smith said something retarded about Jerry West once. He said, without Jerry West, we wouldn't have a logo. And Charles was like, somebody else would just be the logo, you dumbass. Like, they would have just picked somebody else, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, it would have been Myers Leonard.
Right. Jerry West, great player in his day, but not even close anymore, because there's just been too many people who've had better careers. You know? And this is what it all comes down to. It's like, are you asking, talking about all-time greats, are you talking about how their career went or who they were as a player? If you start talking about, well, who was just the best player of all time, who was the best, it's scoring and blah 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 and all this other kind of shit. It's all like, well, now you get into the places where people might start arguing T-Mac, and that's not comfortable. So yeah, you have to consider the career. And if that's the case, Jerry West isn't even close.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at this list here. You got like Karl Malone. I think Curry's past him at this point. Barkley, same.
Karl Malone, that's a two-time MVP, third in all-time scoring now.
He's another really
And
good longevity guy, but he never had that one dominant season. It was always like he's good, he's good, he's good, he's good, he's good, he's good.
um, yeah, top 10 all time. It's hard to argue now with the people who have had, jumped in there, and taken over. But in Karl Malone's defense, he won MVP while Jordan was in the league, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
I think it'd be easier to say that Curry is top 10 all time for most people if they actually won in 2016. Because LeBron would be lower for not winning that championship. Curry would have gotten the Finals MVP. There's no question, and they actually would have won the year that they got 73-9. So by then,
Yeah,
people would they wouldn't really have a problem with saying that Curry was top 10 at that point.
yeah. And honestly,
He
if
still is
Kate,
top 10. It doesn't matter what their fucking opinions are, but it'd be easier for people like Moogle to sit there and acknowledge it.
and honestly, like KD, if KD doesn't get hurt against the Raptors, they probably win that year too. And I say that as someone who bet heavily on the Raptors that year and was very happy with that result. But like looking back at it, if they have KD that whole series, they probably just win outright.
Maybe. Yeah, I believe it.
So if Curry was 6-0 in the finals, he might be top five. People might perceive him as top five.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But if they beat the Raptors that year, would Curry have gotten the Finals MVP or Durant?
Now Durant always put up insane numbers in the finals. They probably would have given it to him.
Yeah, because see, that's the thing is now you got a Warriors three-peat with Durant winning 3 Finals MVPs.
Doesn't really hurt Kobe historically.
That's true, but the point is that a lot of people had Shaq higher than Kobe on their all-time lists. What moved Kobe ahead for a lot of people was that he had the second set, but in the grand scheme of things, Shaq definitely had a better career. Yeah. Oh my God. Why are we by rating one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league, but by actual attempts one of the worst? Fucking second quarter right now, we're already 3 for 16 from 3, and we're just constantly getting open shots and missing them all the time. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Make a goddamn open 3, people.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, JS. Like that Raptors title, okay, the finals were kind of bleh because of the injuries, but they went through that Sixers team that was super stacked. That had, by the way, still had Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons before he lost his mind, and Embiid, and that team was actually super stacked. And then they,
Oh
beat
my gentle
Milwaukee
Christ.
with Bud when Bud was, I think that was his first year as the coach, if I recall. Like that was a pretty legit final playoff run for the Raptors. They just got lucky in the finals, kind of.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of respect for Kawhi Leonard as a person anymore because of the shit with his sister and the fact that he actually he's trying to rebuild his sister's reputation, so he puts his sister's name involved in any of the charity stuff that he does, and I'm like, his sister is a goon who murdered an old woman for the change in her purse that she was going to use for the slot machines in a casino bathroom. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard has given her millions of dollars every year as an allowance just for existing and being related to him. Like, I know family's family, but having the audacity to put her name on that shit. Like, imagine if Ted Bundy's family was like, you know what? We still love him, though. He's my little boy. So, please come to the Ted Bundy Library of Tolerance or some shit. Like, what the fuck?
Beasting, yes, she did get arrested. In fact,
Yeah, she's been convicted already, I think. This was a number of years ago.
yeah.
Also, he's lazy,
Like if
Like
if he had Kobe's drive, he could have been top 10 all time easily.
Exactly. Like, he came to LA because he's from the San Diego area, and he always wanted to be in LA because this is his home. Now that he's here, like, he doesn't go to practice. He shows up to games late because he just drives up from San Diego. He spends most of the day high in San Diego. Load management was like the best thing that ever happened to him because no one expected him to actually do anything anymore. Like, the fact he gets paid this kind of fucking money, it's criminal.
I look back at all those seasons where Wilt Chamberlain literally played every single minute of every game. Like, there are literally seasons where he averaged more than 48 minutes a game because of overtime. In fact, one season he played every minute except for 8 because he got thrown out of a game one time.
Yeah.
And, like, I look at the load management now and I'm like, something is not adding up here.
Good God.
Kyle
Korver's 1 for 4 from 3. What the fuck? Every shot has been wide open in the corner. What the hell's happening?
Kyle Korver, the most likely almost MVP in NBA history.
That was another Budenholzer magic. Kyle Korver on the Hawks, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, he was like legend. 5th in MVP voting, even though he had one skill. It was crazy.
Exactly. As soon as this game's over, I'm gonna go back to Subnautica. This is just, like, really enraging. You did not hurt my boy just now, did you? If you did, I will screech loudly. Oh no, he's fine.
Did someone just Did someone almost Kelly Olynyk somebody?
There was an off-ball foul on Ronnie Turiaf, and he was slow to get up, and he had some kind of weird animation. I thought he hurt himself, but it was just a weird animation.
That was amazing. Kelly Olynyk literally yanking Kevin Love's arm out of its socket.
I love him. Kelly Olynyk will forever be one of my favorite players for that shit. I'm so sad that we lost in 2020 because Kelly Olynyk would have gotten a ring that year. That would have been the best fucking shit ever. If Kelly Olynyk got a ring beating LeBron, that would have been... I would have... Oh my god. What in the fuck, dude? Oh my god. Physics is retarded. Game really wants me to lose here, so I'm kind of considering just taking a dive to let it happen so that I'll stop getting maddened.
Like, remember when 36-year-old Kobe led the league in minutes played?
Yes.
And now we have load management.
I mean, you're playing a children's game for a living, And if you're that tired, you could just play a slow grit and grind style that slows the game down, so then you get the chance to walk more, or spend more time just standing still. You know, I think about like Karl Malone was obviously on steroids, so that's why he was able to be an Iron Man. But John Stockton wasn't juice. He barely missed time ever. That's how he has so many unbeatable all-time career records as a point guard. No one's ever going to catch him is just because of how much time he had to play. You know, how many games he got in. You gonna move, dumbass? What the hell you doing?
Yeah, D'Antoni's killed a lot of players. Like, remember Amari? He trades for Amari's,
Yes.
like, terrible knees, and then he plays him 48 minutes a night for, like, a month, and then Amari gets hurt and is never the same again. Like,
Yeah.
as an owner, don't you have to step in and be like, hey, you're killing my commodities here. Knock it off. Play your bench.
Well, Tom Thibodeau also. I'm surprised Jimmy Butler's still alive, let alone playing at the level that he is.
Didn't
Because
Luol Deng
remember
almost
how
die?
when he ended up on the fucking Wolves was because Tom Thibodeau was running that team too, and
Yeah,
he almost killed Jimmy again. Good
yeah.
God, man!
I think
Fucking Ivan
Luol
Drago
Deng
over here.
literally almost died.
Yes, Luol Deng did almost die. He had some kind of a sickness that the medical staff was not correctly diagnosing. But he went to get a second opinion. That's the same thing that happened with the Redskins. Whoever it was, Trent Daniels, I think.
Uh,
Fuck, I forget his name.
Hold on, let me think. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either, though.
At the time, he was like the best left tackle in the league. Also, what the fuck is happening to my team?
Trent Williams.
David... I was close. Wait, I think I said that. What did I say? Chat, what did I say?
I feel like it was like Trent Taylor or something like that.
Hold on, let me go back.
I think you can do
Somebody
that on
clip
Twitch
it.
streams.
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I click on your name, then I click on videos, then I click on the stream that you're doing right now, which would be the VOD for this. Alright, here we go. Daniels. I was close. I knew it was Trent something, at least. Ugh. Alright.
Man, so apparently Lonzo Ball's injury is so bad he's going to retire. That's kind of sad. He had actually
Are you
found a way to.
serious?
Yeah, he's missed 2 years in a row basically now, and apparently it's not getting better, so he might retire.
Chicago Bulls think Lonzo Ball won't play again. How about that? Lakers rumors, former star may retire. Wow. Unbelievable.
At least he made his money first, I guess, but man. He was actually a
Big
really good
baller brand.
defensive player.
That is crazy. Bulls believe Lonzo Ball might never play again due to injury. Wow. That is insane. It feels like just yesterday he was getting drafted.
the same way about a lot of these guys, like Tatum, Brown, fucking Brandon Ingram. Feels like they just got drafted, bro.
Yeah, like fucking what's his face? His dad said that because I mean his dad is who he is. He sits there and says that Trump lost in 2020 because of him.
Well, you gotta admit, he's very good at putting his name out there.
Yes,
And I
he's a
guess that's
total moron.
he's like, what was the name of the promoter for Mike Tyson? Don.
Don King.
Yeah.
Don King. That was one of Dave Chappelle's best skits on the Chappelle shows when he did a Don King impression, where they decided to do gay boxing, and he said we're gonna call it Friday Night Sissy Fights. Happy Pride, everybody. Oh my God! Why'd I get double teamed like that? That was hilarious. Just Deron Williams running away from the double team. He ran the length of the court. Oh man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I think I agree, JS. Although Chappelle's stand-up is actually, I think, really good too. I'm continually impressed with his stand-up. Even though you're probably right, his skits are better. Like like his bit about how the LGBT is like a carpool is fucking fantastic. And I still don't know why it's supposed to be offensive at all. Like, he doesn't say anything really that bad in that.
Why is everyone playing Deron Williams so much harder than he was in the fucking beginning of the season, man? Like, it is almost impossible to score with him now. I just get fucking triple teamed on possessions now. Holy fuck.
Well, he'll probably lead the league in assists if they keep doing that.
Unironically, I have 5 points and 18 assists. It's the second quarter.
You're
Like,
you're Rajon Rondo.
this is so fucking stupid. I just want to drive to the rim and fucking get a basket, but I'm 2 for 19 with them right now because they won't fucking leave me alone. Or 2 for 9, I mean.
I was about to say, how the hell have you gotten up 18 shots? Yeah, JS. According to rumors, EA is actually going to put effort into the new Madden, which
I doubt it.
that would be nice, because it sounds like 2K finally had some effort put into it, so maybe they feel like they need to keep up.
More than likely, the license is under review right now or some shit. What the flying fuck was that? Ugh. God, I hate when I get animations that are just to fucking lay the ball up into the defender's hand for a block. God damn it. Oh my god, make the fucking shot.
Yeah, but JS, they never had to care about that because of all the people who spent tens of thousands of dollars in mud. And if those people stop, then they're doomed. Like, they're screwed without that. But my question is, are they going to decide, hey, we're going to put some effort into this, even though we're still making that money because we want to actually, make a good game? Maybe. Like, if Madden was good, I would probably play it every year because I would get a lot of people who want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make myself play a game that sucks just to pump numbers.
He said while playing a game that sucks to pump numbers. Just kidding. I'm gonna switch my bench around and just run that small ball lineup forever because for some reason it's working so good.
Although, according to Snacks, the 2K23 My Player mode kind of sucks too, so...
Yes, it's awful. It is the worst My Player I have ever played. It is excruciatingly awful. I can see how some people might enjoy it, but the thing is, it's built to where it should be the only game that you ever play if you actually want to enjoy it. Because you don't have the time to do anything else. Like, it's so bad. It feels like you're playing a fucking Korean RPG or some shit with the amount of time sinks in there.
Which I'm not against, but I don't want to get stuck on one game for that long a period of time. I want to be able to keep moving through games. So that's probably a no-no.
Oh, that'd be why. This is just the second straight game I've been playing against the most effective perimeter defenders in the league by rating. Ugh.
You playing against?
Well, right now we got Larry Hughes is on this Suns team. And by rating, his perimeter defense rating is the highest for point guard in the league.
Really? I never knew he
Yeah.
was considered a great defensive player.
Well, he is in this game, because Dwayne Wade's not considered a great three-point shooter. However, Dwayne Wade has a 99 three-point rating right now in the league, and he's third in the league in threes made per game and first in the league in three-point percentage per game.
At that point, he's not even Dwayne Wade.
Exactly. This is happening while Ray Allen is actually in the league. And we're a few seasons away from Steph Curry getting drafted, and I'm pretty sure Wade's still going to be playing like this. So this is just how it is. It doesn't matter if this is who he actually was. This is just how it is in 2K right now.
I mean, even a shitty three-point shooter can, like, catch fire for a random couple of weeks. Like, Baron Davis was terrible shooting threes, but for that series where they beat the Mavs as the 8th seed, he, like, shot 48% from three or something. Just randomly caught fire and then never caught fire again. Yeah, JS, I don't remember if you were here or not when I did, but a few years ago on YouTube, I streamed Until Dawn, and I was impressed with how robust the decision system was. It was like Heavy Rain, but with an actual, like... I thought it accomplished what Heavy Rain wanted to do years before. But I've never played The Quarry. The Quarry. That is kind of weird, though, JS. Huh. Oh, I see. Okay. Actually, this reminds me, JS, Snacks actually found a really interesting potential co-op game for us earlier today that I didn't know anything about until he was talking about it.
Would you like to know more?
It's in early access, so it's not going to be an immediate thing, but whatever.
Oh my god, this fucking game, that should never happen. Ugh. I get scored on because the camera is looking at someone's face on the bench because it just showed an instant replay of something that they did 2 quarters previous. Because the announcers are doing some sort of a highlight, whatever. The game is actively taking place while they're looking at the sky. The AI inbounds the ball, goes up and fucking scores while I literally have no ability to contest or play defense because I'm looking at this dipshit. And there's no way to turn that off. I've turned off all presentation-related effects, and it's still happening.
Oh, it's
That
a
is so
glitch.
fucking stupid. It's not a glitch because it's 100% intended because they think that that's part of the simulation feel and the presentation, and they're like, hey, isn't this just like watching the game at home? And it's all like, yeah, right up to the part where I'm not playing. Like, what the fuck?
That's
That is
kind of...
annoying. I
Now
mean, the game's
that's...
not close right now because ever since I subbed in my bench, they've just magically fucking figured out how to hit shots. So we're up by 13 points right now, but like, what the fuck?
Crap. I did the wrong thing. That was really stupid. God damn it. I'm an idiot. Okay. I'm gonna have to find those fucking lizards, though. This is not gonna be fun. Yeah, JS, it's gonna be slow. I'm actually gonna do a video for tomorrow, but there's probably gonna be a lot of dead downtime. Eh, I don't think people would be interested in that, JS. I'm probably going to do a watch-along stream of the NBA draft, just to do something, but eh.
Whoa, what the fuck was that supposed to be? Also, Deron Williams is shooting amazing from the free throw line. Like, I'm leading the league in free throws made right now. I've only missed 3 the entire season, and yet in spite of that, I'm actually not leading the league in free throw percentage because Ray Allen has not missed the entire season yet. Like, holy crap, this guy's a legend.
Record is Jose Calderon, 98.1%.
Well, yeah, who knows if it'll hold out for the whole season, but,
Yeah, I did see that, JS.
why? can't fucking buy a 3-point shot, man. This is nuts. And we're taking a ton. 6 for 28 from 3 right now. What the fuck? Alright. Keep taking advantage of this. That defense, boy. This is all I needed, was they subbed out Larry Hughes. So then I put Duran back in the game immediately, and he's cooking right now. Oh yeah, that was another reason that Wolves game felt like a playoff game, is because KG played 43 minutes. They never subbed him out. He was exhausted at the end of the game.
That's why he flopped.
Exactly.
Maybe he
He
didn't
needed a
flop.
nap.
Maybe he was just tired.
Exactly. He collapsed out of exhaustion. And one. Hell yeah.
Back out to Allen, his three-pointer.
Won't go. I'd have been devastated.
Honestly, with the lineup San Antonio had out there, he probably would have gotten another offensive rebound and another shot.
That would have been hilarious. They did have 5 seconds left.
The three-pointer that LeBron missed right before he made the second one that made it a 2-point game, he missed that shot so bad, like Kawhi couldn't rebound it because it took such a bizarre bounce. Like he was in perfect position to rebound it. And it got bricked so badly, it just like went in some crazy weird direction.
What in the fuck? Okay. That shouldn't have happened, though. Oh my god.
Guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. See you guys shortly. Everyone just chill out for a bit. Okay. I am back.
I don't know why they've been doing this, but this is why the Suns are getting destroyed right now. For some reason, they've been letting Larry Hughes and Kelvin Cowens pop the fuck off. Bosch is 2 for 4 right now with 6 points. I'm really surprised they haven't just let him play. You know, like, hand him the ball and let him cook. It's Chris Bosch. He's their best player. Like, and I don't just mean that as a Chris Bosch fan. I mean, unironically, he has the highest overall on their team. They're just not letting him play. It's not that we've been denying the ball. They just haven't given him the ball. Like, Larry Hughes has 17 shot attempts.
So he's not doing the LeBron thing where he's just
Basically,
passing it?
yeah, right now they're losing by 24, and I'm all like, just, why aren't you letting Bosch play? What the fuck? Charlie V is popping off too, man. Fuck. Easily my best score on the bench. Even better than Leandro Barbosa, which is really nuts.
Love the sinner, hate the sin. That's not going to happen.
What's that got to do with it? What the hell was that? Joke.
Test, test, test.
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you.
What the hell was that? All of a sudden, my head was like,
Wasn't me. I didn't do nothing.
became an alien.
Watermelons? Watermelons? Watermelons.
I have a watermelon.
I'll still never forget when I got moderated on the NBAB for saying that LeBron James likes fried chicken and watermelon.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, it's literally true. I don't understand how I could get modded for that. That doesn't make sense.
Oh my gentle Jesus, what the hell is this? Oh, I was watching some D-Well highlight videos the other day. Because Now that I'm playing 2K, I'm falling in love with D. Will all over again. When he was on the Nets, this is one of his last seasons on the Nets too. He had such a gorgeous move. He was in an isolation one-on-one with Brandon Bass. So you'd expect him, obviously, to just take off and cook him on this possession, which is exactly what he did. He had him on skates. He faked past him 3 times just to send a message. He hits him with a behind-the-back move and then a double crossover, and both crossovers fucked him up. First one, then the other. He ends up on the deck, and he's in Brooklyn doing this shit. And then he just runs in, floats it in. Gorgeous fucking shot. My God. What a legend. I wish that boy could stay healthy. What a career he would have had.
What do you think is the biggest injury-related what-if in NBA history in terms of like a player?
Len Bias.
That's
And one. No. The biggest injury-related what-if, without a doubt, without question, there's literally no other correct answer. Derrick Rose.
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, he's probably going to end up being the only person to win MVP and not make the Hall of Fame, and it's because of that. As if it wasn't bad enough, the first ACL he could come back from, and the first season when he came back, he looked like his old self. Then he did it again in the other knee. And then he comes back and he fucks up the first knee that he fucked up again. So after that, he was done. If it hadn't have been for that shit, first ballot. I don't think that he would have won a championship by now, but the Bulls would have been much more relevant over the last decade.
I mean, packed in with that question is, if the Bulls are able to put together an extended run with Rose, Noah, and I don't know, let's say Luol Deng, like, do they become like a free agent hotspot to the point where maybe somebody like Carmelo sacrifices money so he can play with Derrick Rose? Does that happen?
An interesting question. I don't know. I think the answer probably would be no. But that's just because there was a lot of money tied up in all those guys that you mentioned, and I don't think they'd had the space.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if they did, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in, I think it was 2014 or 2015, Carmelo signed that 5-year max extension with the Knicks, and apparently the Bulls tried to go for him, but they were like, we can only give you like $15 million a year. And the Knicks gave him like $25 million a year, and he's like, well, there's no, I guess I'm just going to take the money, even though the Knicks suck.
Right. And it's not just the money. Carmelo also had a fucking prostitute for a wife. I guarantee Lala was like, baby, take the money. Which is sad, because it might have been.
I was thinking about it earlier, how weird it is that Carmelo like never really played for a good team. He was around for so long, and his best team was like those 09 Nuggets.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too, is about what I mentioned, is that, women will be women, and of course that's a lot of money that he'd be leaving on the table. But the fact that Lala ended up leaving him is the ticket for me. Like, man, that should have gone different for him. Poor guy. You feel bad for him. Because, like, imagine if LeBron's, like, harridan fucking swamp hag of a wife left him and took, like, a shitload of money in the divorce. So, like, he could have had anybody that he wanted. And he stayed with you out of loyalty because he was with you before the money and fame. and you betrayed him like that. It'd be sad. Ugh. I was watching a video the other day as young Zoomer women were being asked, how much money would you want your husband to make? You know, how much money would a guy have to make in order for you to say, okay, I'll marry you? And this one girl, I shit you not, she said she is waiting on a guy who makes $650,000 a year.
That could be a long wait.
And when she was asked what she thought the median salary in the U.S. was, she said 165,000.
What an oddly
Median
specific number.
salary. The median salary in the United States is just under 40,000. And it's hilarious because it's like these broads are mid as fuck. Like they offer nothing other than a warm, wet hole, and they are asking for the top 0.0001% of income. It's just stupid. Like, good lord, man. You know. Did you seriously just throw a lob with 3 minutes left in the game down 33 points? Okay. Iggy, get ready. Oh. I said that shit. Oh my god, I set up Iggy to cut to the basket for an alley-oop play. Holy shit, 3 help defenders came. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They knew it was coming.
Yeah, David, I think Bill Walton is a huge one. That guy was the best player in the league when he went down. Like, he could have been an absolute all-timer, and then he never wins another playoff series after winning MVP until he lands on the Celtics coming off the bench. It's like, man, that guy could have been special.
Wow. That was not even close to what I wanted. That's just what happens when you don't inbound the ball as quick as I want. I keep mashing the pass button and then I toss it all the way down the court. That sucks, but what are you going to do? Ugh.
Yeah. Actually, that's the thing that I remember from the Bill Simmons book more than anything. At the end of the book, he was writing about Bill Walton because he talked to Bill Walton a lot when he was doing research for the book. And one thing that Bill Walton said was, I cannot bring myself to ever watch highlights of myself playing when I was, at UCLA or Portland or wherever, because it's too painful to think about, to see what I had and what I lost, because I only had it for a couple seasons before I got hurt.
Yeah, Bill Walton was definitely a great player. However, anyone who thinks that he's the biggest what if because of injuries of all time is just no. No. It's Derrick Rose, man. It's gotta be. Like, Rose was an absolute unguardable machine.
But you gotta remember, though, the world would be better if Rose was dead.
Yes.
That has to be kept in mind here.
We men, you can assume.
That's a part of this that cannot be understated.
KD had an awful game. Coming away with 11 points, 4 for 11 shooting, including 2 for 8 from 3. I don't know who the fuck this is. It's not Kevin Durant. Officers, arrest this imposter. What the hell are you doing?
Like, according to Walton, he's like, he doesn't read anything about his career. He doesn't look at any highlights or listen to any, nothing. Like, he can't even look at it because it just makes him too sad. So Simmons asked him, well, what about my book? My book, I write about you a lot. Are you going to read my book? And then Bill Walton said, yeah, don't worry, I'll read your book. And then he did like a footnote years later after writing the book and publishing it. He was like, apparently, I spoke to Walton recently, and he said he still hasn't read it because, like he said, he can't do it.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, think about how much it must kill Derek Rose knowing what he was. In fact, what is Derek Rose up to these days?
He's on the Knicks.
Man, he can't get away from Thibodeau, can he? God damn.
He doesn't want to. Like, Tibbs is pretty much the only person who believes in him, you know?
Man. So last year he shot 38% from the field. Man, with these numbers being what they are, plus the fact that he got hurt, like, he might retire this offseason. This might...
He could. It's been, what, 14 seasons since he got drafted? 15?
Let me see here.
Something like that.
He was, yeah, he's played
It
13
was the
years, but he
09
missed a
draft,
year.
I think.
So it's 14 years since he got drafted. Man, like the previous year, he was actually playing really well for the Knicks. Shot 40% from three. Was pretty much perfect at the free throw line. Yeah, he was actually really good for them coming off the bench, and then last year he just sucked.
That's the most Kyle Korver thing ever. Kyle Korver had a wide open lane of the basket after I passed it to him. He started cutting. And he stops right outside the paint. He's 5 feet from the basket, and he pulled up and shot a jumper. He made it, but like, imagine pulling up 5 feet from the basket. What the fuck?
He doesn't know how to go near the basket. It's just not in his DNA.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Sabonis was supposedly amazing, David. I've read about him. Like apparently he was like Bill Walton, but he could shoot in his prime, but we'll never really get to see it.
Final score 72 to 105. Really funny thing is the fourth quarter they finally let Bosch play, and that was like all of their offense. Ugh. So embarrassing. Larry Hughes finished 8 for 24. Why would you let him chuck? That's why you lost right there.
He was doing a tribute to Kobe, I guess.
Oh my god, hold on. Okay. I thought someone on their team had 7 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, David, I was watching some highlights from the Lakers-Blazers series in 2000, and Sabonis was guarding Shaq a lot in that series. And honestly, he's bigger, and he actually makes Shaq look kind of small. Like, he's just such a big dude. It's crazy.
Would you say that there's a lot of girth involved?
Yes.
Thick. Okay, back to Subnautica. I need to get my fucking prawn suit now.
Your porn suit.
Oh, I figured out what the problem was with the dock and why I couldn't get my submarine in there. The submarine actually isn't allowed to dock with that base. It's not supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which made me feel really fucking stupid. Because I had already, completely reformed my base. I just felt so dumb. Alright. Open storage, power cells. Shove my stasis rifle in there. I'm mad at the propulsion cannon too. I don't really need too much.
I was also watching highlights from Shaq's first game against Yao Ming. Pretty spectacular. Because at that point, Yao Ming was not a great player yet. He wasn't playing that much. He wasn't a huge part of what Houston was doing yet. And he just goes out there and blocks Shaq's first 3 field goal attempts.
Underwater islands. In the mushroom forest right now. Close to the bulb zone. I would head west by northwest. Okay.
Huh. Huh?
Also, I love the sonar. It's already saved my life a number of times. I'm really happy with it.
Oh. It's not ready for a fight. Thing is, even these other historic big men that were really good passers, like Sabonis and Vlade Divac, and to a certain extent Shaq, no team ever like ran the offense through them the way they run the ball through Jokic, so it's really hard to compare. Like these other centers that were good at passing, they would average like 3 assists a game, which Jokic does in like 5 minutes on the average game. So it's really hard to draw apt comparisons.
Right, Jokic is basically... He's already the GOAT for his position and playstyle. Jokic is already the GOAT point big man. You know, so point forward, point center. Already the greatest to ever do this in that sense. Now, the question of what I'm talking about, where I'm big on the Jokic hype train and I want to see him be the GOAT, I'm talking in general.
Right.
Like, people sitting there saying, move over Jordan, it's Jokic time. Even though Jordan, in my book, is not the GOAT. You know, a lot of people think he is, which was mostly just marketing from David Stern and Nike, especially, because they wanted to make money. And, you know, having Jordan be the GOAT and be playing at the same time, you know, while everyone's openly acknowledging Wayne Gretzky as the hockey GOAT, you know, seeing what that did for the NHL, David Stern wanted that. That's why, even though he basically, Jordan, that is, even though he basically did what Pete Rose did, they let him save face instead of being blackballed from the league the way that Pete Rose was. They just said, okay, why don't you quote unquote retire for the duration of your suspension? But Michael Jordan's gambling debts got his father killed. Never forget. Okay, so that wrecks in the underwater islands, right? 200 meters down, so we're in the right depth. Just need to get the right position. And we don't need to worry about spookies, because even though it's dark, nothing's big enough to actually hurt us. unless we go too far. The Blood Kelp zone will be safe. It's just if we go into the mountains region, we'll be fucked. So don't do that.
You know, I'm
What a
watching
dick.
the Vince Carter dunks that he had at age 42. They're not bad. Like, they're not, anything special, but it's not like he's barely touching the rim and tapping the ball in. They're like actual dunks.
They're
Gotta
better
give
than
credit to him.
WNBA dunks.
Yeah. I wonder if Jordan could still dunk today.
Um, I think if he had some time to, like, condition, probably. But I think he's not that he's unable to do it, but that he's old enough to where it'd be tough for him to just go out there cold and pull it off.
And he does it and his legs just shatter on the way down.
There we go. That would be very amusing. But unfortunately, I don't get to have the things I want in life, so I doubt that that would happen.
Huh?
This is what I was talking about, the big spookies. These guys are weak as fuck, and I'm actually kicking their asses. I'm just driving like a Korean lady. That's how I'm handling them.
By the way, there was a new Foxford a few days ago.
Nice.
It's nothing special, but it's new Foxford, regardless.
Yeah.
Huh? Huh? Oh.
Fucker. Ouch. Why are there so many of these sons of bitches? Like, unironically, get the fuck away.
I can do it!
There's like 80 of them on this road. I literally do not have the ability to just fucking thug you guys for 80 minutes. I'm not having that kind of time. Literally, there's 8 of them chasing me. What the fuck?
Treat them the way Ray Rice treated his wife.
I literally am trying to, like, because the guys who made this game are really faggy. They said we didn't want to have weapons in the game because violence is bad and you should learn to solve your problems without violence. But that's stupid. So, these things do have health bars. So you either stasis them and then just like hit them with a knife 80,000 times, or you could do like I'm doing, just ram them with your vehicle, which damages your vehicle, but it damages them too.
Huh?
And they are taking an ass beating this way, let me tell you.
Oh. Ooh.
Alright.
Yep.
Engine fragment, no. What is this? Creature decoy. I already have that. Guess I just have to go inside. Gotta find an entrance that's not surrounded by these fucking things. Okay, that's a viable entrance. Now what? Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur.
Timeless classic.
Please tell me this is enough. Prawn suit. Grappling arm, son of a bitch.
I can.
Alright, I've after this, I'll go back and get some more air.
Driving faster than the speed limit kills people, but it also helps people get to work on time, so it's impossible to say if it's actually bad or not.
Yeah, I got gigged for speeding about a month ago, and I was pissed. But like all I didn't drive slower. I just started driving in a different spot when I had to work in the morning, cause like I'm not gonna suddenly drive slower, cause I'm not driving at unsafe speeds in the first place. You know,
I have
I
still
know
to
it.
this day never gotten a speeding ticket.
I got caught in a fucking speed trap in a very bullshit part of town where no one goes the alleged speed limit because it's literally designed to be a speed trap. You're going downhill where the speed limit's something like 50 or some miles an hour. And then during that one little section of road, you're supposed to stop while going downhill and then slow down to like 35. It was total bullshit. But when I'm driving to work, there's no one on the road. Because it's fucking 6:30 in the morning. Fuck you.
Time I got pulled over for doing a 51 and a 35 and didn't get a ticket, and every time I tell people that, they're amazed.
Ooh, that was close. 8% health on my sub, almost destroyed. I'd have been mad as fuck. Rage quit on the spot. This is what happens when you turn your submarine into a weapon.
When you die in Subnautica, do you respawn, or do you load like a previous save?
It depends on if you're playing on a certain difficulty or not. If you're playing on the non-hardcore difficulty like I am, then you do respawn. But when you respawn, you lose some of the items in your inventory, and you respawn at the place you most recently used a fabricator at, which could be very far away from. So usually I just quit out and reload a save.
Makes
Because
sense.
it's less bullshit that way.
Yeah, the only way to do that in Minecraft is to like make a backup copy of the world, save it to a different folder, and then just drag it back in after you die. They intentionally make it so you can't load previous saves. And if you die, you drop all your items, so you can lose a lot of really important stuff like that.
I remember. Even though we played only a little bit of Minecraft, I remember when we died like really deep down, and it was a huge pain in the ass to try to get down there and save all the stuff that we...
Yeah, that's why you always play Minecraft with the coordinates on, so you can see where you are on an XYZ plane. So you can at least get back to where you were before.
There you go. Son of a bitch. Alright, we got the grappling arm and the propulsion arm. We need a drill arm. There's some aerogel, and we got everything else. Yay.
Yeah,
Air.
that makes sense to me, David. Although I will say that's probably just going to make the NFL change the rules again next year, like ban squib kicks or something.
What?
The NFL's changing the rules slightly to make it less likely that if there's a kickoff return, basically reward just doing a fair catch. Because they're trying to get kick returns out of the game because too many players get hurt.
Oh, dude, that's stupid as hell. Have they ever considered just not being a bitch? Alright, let's see here. Oh. Okay, cool, I guess. Whoa! That is not what I want. Okay. Stasis rifle. Yeah, alright. We're clear. Back to the sea, Dingle.
I believe you have my stapler.
Pretty much. Homeward bound. I'm gonna fucking fly into this cunt at 80 miles an hour. Bam! Head-on impact. Suck my dick. I was going like Mach 1 and I fucking crashed into his face. Hell yeah. Rubies! Son of a bitch, we need a bunch of these fucking things.
Just say boobies?
Rubies.
I prefer boobies.
As long as you have enough rubies,
Of
you're
course
a little
not.
piece of poop. What do I have? Some titanium. Then let's get out and grow this.
All right, guys. I think that's
Tra-la-la.
gonna do it for me tonight. We are going to probably start in the fire temple tomorrow, or later today, as it were, and try to get that done. And then we could theoretically go beat the game, although we probably won't yet, because I haven't really done much in the depths. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys in the morning.